So now let's go for a new session, the third session today. So the program will be live up to 7 p.m. IST. Okay, so we have three more sessions left now. So we are going to start. So entrepreneurial leadership in the AI era. This is the topic from Joan Jaya Samuel. Uh, so let us welcome. Thank you, Madam, Mr. Miss Samuel, for joining
Yeah.
the session today. Thank you. Welcome to the show. So let me give a quick round of introduction. Joan Jaya Samuel is a certified independent director and board member with over 30 years of experience across governance, operations, and the social impact. So she brings a unique blend of strategic insights, human-centric leadership, and driving ethical governance for the sustainable value creation. So she work her work focuses on strengthening CSR, inclusion, and community impact while building trust-driven organizations. So welcome,
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Samuel. Thank you very much for the session. Over to you.
Yeah, okay. Hello.
Governance, operations, and the
Yeah.
social impact. So she
Hello.
brings a unique blend of strategic insights, human-centric leadership, and driving ethical governance for the sustainable value creation. So she work her work focuses on strengthening CSR,
Can I
inclusion,
go
and
ahead?
community impact
Yeah,
while
we
building
can go ahead. My screen is
trust-driven
visible, sir?
organizations. So welcome,
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Samuel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the session. Over to you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I first of all, I would like to thank Data Labs, Mr.
Governance,
Abdul Kader.
operations, and the
Yeah.
social impact. So she
Hello.
brings a unique blend of strategic insights, human-centric leadership, and driving ethical governance for the sustainable value creation. So she work her work focuses on strengthening CSR,
Can I
inclusion,
go
and
ahead?
community impact
Yeah,
while
we
building
can go my screen is
trust-driven
visible, sir?
organizations. So welcome,
Thank you, sir. Yeah,
Ms.
okay.
Samuel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the session. Over to you.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Madam, what can you say from echo? Sure, sure. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I first of all, I would like to thank Data Labs, Mr. Abdul
Governance,
Kader.
operations, and the
Yeah.
social impact. So she
Hello.
brings a unique blend of strategic insights, human-centric leadership, and driving ethical governance for the sustainable value creation.
Can I
Inclusion
go
and
ahead?
Ma'am, now you can go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm here. I'm getting overlap. I
Actually,
can
your
go ahead.
screen, yeah, ma'am, your both
Okay. Okay.
screens are in unmute, so that why that echo has happened. Now here I have just muted your session one. Okay, you
Okay.
can now go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank Data Labs and Mr. Abdul Kader for this wonderful opportunity, Mr. Adappa for introducing me to this great event. This is actually something really great, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And we are living through a moment where artificial intelligence is not changing technology, it is changing leadership, especially Gen X leaders like us. Can I close one screen?
Yeah, ma'am, you can now open your presentation screen. Yeah, this would be, yes, ma'am. Which one you want to close, ma'am?
No, because yeah. Now can I go ahead?
Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Okay. Yeah. So now we are living through a moment where artificial intelligence is not just changing technology, it is changing leadership, especially when Gen X leaders like us. So we are facing this difficulty to in the transformation. In this session, we will look at how entrepreneurial leadership is evolving in the age of artificial intelligence and how leaders can navigate innovation, governance, and opportunity. எனக்கு நான் பேசுறதே எனக்கு ரிப்பீட் கேட்டே இருக்கு. ஆக்சுவலி இந்த ஸ்க்ரீன் தான் ஷேர் பண்ணிருக்கோம்.
Ma'am, what happened, ma'am? You can just select the screen. Ma'am, you can select the PPT screen. Yeah, it's fine, ma'am.
Every generation of leaders faces a new challenge. For some, it was industrialization. For others, it was internet. For us, it is artificial intelligence. When I say internet, the paperwork which we were doing, with this large records which we used to write, and when there was a computerization taken over, we always had this. We had this. Uh,
Screen share and then reshare again. I think there is some, yeah, stop it and reshare again. Yeah, reshare. Go to the next button, share screen, click on it. Then it will go to the last window. Then share the entire screen. When you click screen share, so there will be three windows open. One is the last screen is the entire screen. So when you go to the entire screen, just click on the button, click on it, click on the left side, and then when the moment you click it, the share will be activated. Just share it. Likewise. Yeah, now we can see the screen. So put your
yeah,
presentation. Yeah,
yeah,
now it is
okay.
perfect. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay, sir.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And for us, it is artificial intelligence. So when there was an internet transformation happening, in my experience, I used to write in long registers where we still believe that this computer is not going to take over. Let's have uh, this backup, because anytime they might come up and ask for the record, and let's have this record ready, even though we were doing it in computer. And then it took for some time for us to really get into it, that yeah, okay, this is really changing, and this records are no longer needed, and this computer was so easy, even we could sort out, and even in Excel or whatever the CRM which we are working, made it so easy for us. So now, when we talk about AI movement, so what exactly is this AI movement which you're talking about? The transformation of the AI is the what AI is. See, when we say AI, we think it is just chat GPT. So to me, I say, oh, I know chat GPT, so that is all about AI. But AI is much, much bigger than that. It's not just technology shift, it's a leadership transformation, because it is changing how decisions are made and how it gets done and how organizations create value. This is why AI must be understood just not as a tool, but as an organization shift. And this is where things become interesting. Technology wave reshapes industry. History shows us that every major technology wave creates a clear divide. Some companies adopt early and others disappear quietly. I'm just going to quote one example of Kodak. Kodak, which was one of the global leaders in photography. In fact, Kodak engineers invented the first digital camera in 1975. But leadership feared that digital photography would destroy their profitable film business. Because of this hesitation, Kodak delayed embracing the digital future, which competitors moved ahead. Eventually, Kodak filed bankruptcy in 2012. Another big example where the technology, I'm talking about where they delayed in adopting the technology. In 2000s, Nokia dominated the global mobile phone market and controlled nearly 40% of the global sale. However, when smartphones began transforming the industry, competitors began building software driven ecosystems around their devices. Nokia continued focusing mainly on hardware. Within a few years, there was a dramatic shift in the mobile industry, and Nokia couldn't sustain the market, and they vanished. The lesson is simple. The pattern is always the same. Those who respond early create advantage, while those who hesitate lose relevance. If this is the lesson, then what is the real question? The leadership question. The most organization focus on using AI tools. There is no doubt about it. There's no hesitation whether we are going to use AI or not. The real question is not should we use AI. The real question is how do we build AI native organization. And because of AI is not just changing tools, it is reshaping our organization decisions, operate and create values. So what does this looks like in practice? So we know in theory that AI has to be taken over. AI is the next transformation which is going to happen. But when it comes to really, when we talk about the AI native enterprises, what does it take in practice? Behind the screen, AI is integrated into operations, managing the inventory. Huge companies where they have a huge inventory is being taken care of. It supports decisions, predicts demands, it enhances the product and services, it gives personalized recommendations, and it shapes customer experiences, making it seamless and tailored. Let me explain this with an example. Think of a grocery store. In a traditional store, stock is checked manually, reordering is based on experience, offers are the same for every customer. Now imagine a AI enabled grocery store. AI integrates into operations, it automatically tracks inventory and reorders before stock runs out. And this is what we are talking about. Each customer gets personalized offer, not generic discounts. If in an AI native organization, intelligence is not added later, it is integrated into everything. AI becomes part of the organization DNA. And when we say like no AI, now okay, now we know when in practice which what we are going to do. But what initially is the essential thing is the founder's mindset. Building AI native organizations starts with the mindset, and specifically a founder's mindset. What new value can we create? This is the founders ask, but the managers ask, how do we control cost? So when you are AI, this is what the difference is. AI does not reward incremental thinking, it rewards bold, value created thinking. To truly leverage AI, leaders must think less like managers and more like founders. So, what does a founder's mindset looks like in practice? It shows up three qualities. So, okay, now it is decided, but what does an AI leader requires? First thing is the curiosity. uh, it does not start with the AI does not start with answers, it starts with questions. Curious leaders don't assume they know everything. They keep digging deeper and ask deeper questions. what patterns are we missing. So they don't say we already have the pattern in hand, we already have the data in hand, we have everything in hand. They don't say that. The AI curiosity is what patterns are we missing, what data are we still missing, what can we do differently. And because in today's world opportunities are not always visible, they are hidden under the data. So unless you dig deeper and ask more questions, the curiosity in is what brings those opportunities to surface. Okay, so now you've got the opportunity in surface. So now what does, and next the trait is experimentation. So AI cannot be implemented perfectly from day one. Yes, we agree. It requires continuous testing and learning. Success organization don't wait for perfect solutions. They start small, run pilot projects, and build prototypes. And most importantly, they learn fast because every experiment, whether successful or not, creates insights. And those insights lead to better decisions and better sustainability. In the AI era, the goal is not to avoid failure, it is to learn faster, learn faster, which takes us to the next trait is the speed of learning. See, nowadays everybody expects speed. In the past, uh, con- competitive advantage came from size, scale, or capital. Today, it comes from how fast you learn. Because in an AI driven world, the faster you learn, the faster you adopt, or the faster you innovate. Organization that experiment and learn quickly continuously improves their system and stay ahead of the competition. It's not the biggest organization that win, it is the fastest learners that win. Now let's take a step back and look at how the traditional growth worked. Traditional, we all worked in the traditional way of working. I'm sure all the Gen X leaders worked in the traditional model. If a business wanted to grow, it needed more people, more capital, and more growth was directly linked to resources. In other words, scaling was linear. See, when you say they were, working in a company, they usually in a traditional way, they use how many people company is that. So the growth, the measurement of the company was measured by the number of people. If you wanted to double the output, you had to almost double your input. Growth was limited by how much you could invest. Now, when it comes to AI, changes is completely. First, automation drives efficiency. Tasks that once required people and time now can be done instantly at a larger scale. Second, data powers smart decisions. And we have the data. Leaders do not no longer keep guessing. They are acting based on the real time data. And most importantly, growth is no longer linear. Organization can scale without increasing resources at the same rate. AI allows organizations to grow faster and less with less resources. Now, this leads to an important shift. We know what the traits of a leader is in AI. So now the shift is that today small teams can create massive impact. With AI, a small group of people can build products, serve thousands, even millions of customers because AI amplifies productivity. It removes limitation that once existed. It accelerates innovation and productivity. In today's world, it's not about how big your team is, it's about how effectively you use intelligence. And it is also changing how they create value, which takes us to the next wave or next important transformation which we have to be ready for is the platform economy. Now there are another important shift is because today people are no longer just products, they are becoming platforms. A platform connects different participants, users, service providers, and partners. Add value is not created by the company alone, it is created through interactions between all these participants. To take an example of this Amazon, it started as a bookstore. But today it connects buyers, sellers, and services as a single in a single platform. 250 million plus Prime members all around the globe are using, apart from the other businesses of Amazon, creating a massive ecosystem. The most successful business today does not just sell products, they use platforms and enable others to create value. And this again leads to the very powerful thing is which is the network effort. It's like a going on and on process. It's a cycle where more users uh, are more data is generated. That data improves the system, making it smarter and more relevant. And as the system improves, it attracts even more users. This goes on and on. This is what creates exponential growth. So what does all this mean to a leader? Leaders shift. It requires fundamental shift is how we think. Leaders can no longer focus only on products. They must think in terms of ecosystem, build partnership and network. And think of a shop where it creates its own products and sells its own products. Now think of a shopping mall. It does not create all the products, it brings together multiple stores. That's how the AI native company also works. All and creates value by connecting them. That's the shift we are talking about, from building products to building ecosystem. It's not just about what we create, it's about how we enable others to create value. Leaders does not build business, they build ecosystems. And now let's look at how AI creates real advantage. What are the advantages of AI? First advantage would be automation. uh, AI can handle repetitive routine tasks much faster with greater accuracy. Let's take an example of JB Morgan, one of the greatest financial services company. The JB Morgan AI is used to review thousands of legal documents, works that once took hundreds of hours now takes seconds. And what does thus do? It frees people and with the routine work. So it doesn't mean the people will be removed from the system, but people are free to do creative work, strategy, and judgment. AI does not replace people, it elevates how people contribute. And next advantage is the data driven decisions. The second advantage, organization today have access to massive amount of data. Of course, there is a lot of data leakage which is happening these days, but the real value comes from turning that data into insights. AI helps leaders make decision faster and move accurately. This leads to a better customer experience and leads business outcomes. Better decisions are made faster, create competitive advantage. The third advantage is the which AI brings is the speed. See, in today's world, no, as a user, as a customer, I'm sure all of us would have booked a cab on in Uber or Ola, but not we are not willing to wait for more than 5 or 6 minutes. This is what the speed the world is moving. Speed is just not important, it is a competitive advantage. So AI enables real-time insights, which means decisions can be made instantly. For example, this algo trading in stock markets, AI system analyzes data and execute a trade in milliseconds, much faster than human could ever think. And this speed can make the difference between leading the market or falling behind. If, if it's not about making the right decision, it's about making it at the right time. Now, while AI creates tremendous opportunity, it also brings important challenges that leaders must be aware of. The first challenge would be data privacy and security. As organizations rely more on data, protecting the data becomes crucial. This is where the leaders come into place. The second is the bias and ethics. AI systems learn from historical data, and that means bias can intentionally lead to unfair decisions. Third, there is a danger of over reliance on automation. Leaders cannot allow AI to replace human judgment completely, especially in important decisions. The last disadvantage is the capacity gaps. Many organizations still do not have the skills, mindsets, or internal readiness to use AI effectively. Take example, if an AI approved loans, AI is used to even approve loans. In this, it involves sensitive customer financial data leakage. If the system is trained on historical leading platform patterns, it can also create bias, unfair outcomes. There is also the risk that leaders may just trust the score too much instead of applying human judgment. And financially, and finally, it needs skilled team to interrupt the challenge and output responsibly, which means there are these are not, just not the technology change, there are leadership responsibilities. This is more of governance becomes critical. It ensures AI used responsibly, ethically, and transparently. This is where our leadership role comes into place in terms of governance, which has become very crucial. AI creates opportunities, but it also demands responsibility. And that brings to the most important and the last thing is final messages. We have spoken about mindset, experimentation, learning, scaling, and platform. But at the heart of all this transformation is one simple idea: human intelligence has its own value, and AI should amplify it, because technology may accelerate change, but leadership will determine what that change becomes. Most importantly, the future belongs to leaders who combine human judgment and machine intelligence. Thank you.
Wonderful lecture, Ms. Samuel. I really like the last closing comment. Human intelligence has its own value,
Yes, sir.
and AI must amplify it. That's fantastic. You talked some very nice examples in your presentation, like what other companies like in banks what they are doing, and also you talk about some very interesting case studies like Kodak and other things. Now, what is see? There are three, four key questions for everybody. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
what is your advice for the people, employees, uh, how to manage this AI transformation in their lives? Then, what is your advice for the companies to who do the business? And then the third is, in general, for the governments and other things. What is your advice uh, from your perspective?
Okay. From the leader's point of view, first thing is the acceptance that AI can accelerate the work. And so, first testing can be done when there is an automation can be done where the routine work is involved. You go on and on doing the same checking or same work where the experiment has to be done there. That would be the best thing to start with as an entrepreneur or as a leader, to change the automation in where the routine work is, you keep doing the same work again and again, where only then you get the time to think of something else instead of replacing it with something else, going to the next thing. That will be the and for the employees, it should be a continuous learning. AI is not a one time project. I've done the certification, I'm done, I'm an AI enabled employee. It cannot be done that way. It has to be a continuous learning process where you have to update yourself what's happening in the market, and you keep learning and you keep updating is the best thing for the employee to do. And when it comes to government, it has to be all centralized. uh, Even the so that it can be easy, like Mr. Abdul Kalam, for when I was reading his book, he used to refer, he centralized all the legal cases where it wherever he is, wherever in the world he is, used to download today where and which place the legal cases are going to be done, which helped the legal cases to close down drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this centralization of legal cases, which he took the effort, and
Mm-hmm.
he made it possible. And it is possible. That's what is my thing. In government might think this is not, because huge data is involved, huge human data is involved. So this has to be done where you can really get things done, and you can close down on the what you are really thinking of.
Fantastic. There are a couple of questions and comments. Okay.
Okay.
So, Shivakumar, so it's a very interesting question. Jyoti, if you can flash that question. Sir, over the decades, hundreds of softwares like SAP, CRP tools came into the market. Companies started using it and getting trained and implemented. Likewise, AI. Okay. So, why this much importance and hype to AI? That's very tricky question. Yeah. So, do you, Miss Samuel, please, would you like
Yeah,
to answer that?
it is a tricky question. So even I used to think, why so much of hype for AI? But
Mhm.
this AI, the difference between a SAP or a CRM or a AI is, it's global. AI is global, so it is all used over the world. But when it comes to SAP, or it used to be used in one organization, and we used to learn, put in so much of effort to get that data published. But when it comes to AI, it is all in a very larger scale and much speeder. Or so this is where AI is
Mhm.
uh, more important. Even the kids are using now. The AI has been so friendly that even the kids are using AI, and every phase of life people are using AI. You might
Fantastic.
add some point to it, sir.
Yeah, I would like to add a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
more
I know. Yeah.
because I come from the technology background. So
Okay.
basically, what all SAP, ERP tools and other were doing is the deterministic approach. Okay, so when you do any business operations like in the warehouse or transportation or manufacturing, it's a deterministic. So you need to set an invoice, and the invoice amount should be 100% correct. There is no question about it. So this is the deterministic approach where all the software so far came out, and there is something a probabilistic approach. So this probabilistic approach, usually they were doing like by analysis. Okay, it's usually done outside the system so far. Okay, but when AI came into this, so AI is more or less like a data probabilistic approach. Okay, so with the given type of data, so it give you the potential. It will give some projections kind of thing, and it will guess what it could be in a most educated guess based on historical data and whatever. So these are the two different things. So all the softwares, especially the operations management and all softwares are deterministic, follow deterministic approach, and AI follow the probabilistic approach. This is a big change actually. This is the
Okay.
biggest
Okay.
change. So because of this, what happens is adoption to the probabilistic approach is not easy as a human. Okay, so we are not used to it, and also supported by the technology. How this the large language models and other technologies doing is makes life much easier. Which earlier, when of before 20 years or something, if you want to learn something new, you need to buy a book, physical hard copy, and learn. So then you have a digital editions, then it become a little easier. Now with AI and all, it is much easier to do that. Okay, so the second difference is, so all these ERPs and other things are touching the business processes. So automation of the processes in the organizations. Now AI brings something which is unknown. Okay, how to eliminate the process or how to simplify the process, how to make it the process irrelevant. So the change is very drastic. Okay, that is the reason it
Change
is
very
very
drastic. Yes.
impact, and it's a big revolution, I can say. So we have to adopt, and there is a long way to go. There is a great way to go ahead, and we still need. We keep hearing something very
Yeah.
important developments in AI also. Yeah. So one more
But
question.
there's nothing to get scared of, is my opinion. Yeah.
It's always,
Yeah.
yeah, there is always change. Change is a permanent thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So one question is, one should do from Mayank Trivedi. One should do an AI assessment thoroughly. Step one should be complete operational excellence. based transformation. Follow that with automation, hyper automation, and RPA. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a statement. Deep learning while keeping systems in checks and balances. Okay. So one more is only looking at mundane tasks will not help AI. That is basic simple automation. AI infra is vastly different. That is where enterprise-wide assessment next. That's good. That's good points. Uh, yeah, we have few more minutes, madam. Uh,
Yeah.
so, yeah, as I said, so what is your advice for the people, companies? You already answered that. How do you do that in your own organization and your peers? How any experience you are doing it with AI? Mhm.
Uh, Actually, speaking, the challenge is, I think you also mentioned, implementing AI in the manufacturing unit becomes a problem. So when it is a manufacturing unit, more of physical work is involved. So where do we implement AI itself is a problem. So we are really not able to implement AI in one sector. In one sector, it goes without AI itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm from a manufacturing unit now. I'm the operations manager. So also, so there I'm able to see AI doesn't come into picture at all, and this is a challenge I feel, because I do not know whether we really have to implement and where.
Correct. Yeah, just to add it to that, madam, for the manufacturing, especially when you talk about the mid-size Indian companies or
Mm.
any other. Okay, so IT investment, IT is an expense. That's a mindset problem.
Yes.
IT traditionally for last 15, 20 years, they consider IT as an expense, not as a asset, as an investment for them. So because of that, they did not spend a lot of money and preparedness for that. Because of that, what happened is you need the basic infrastructure in place, the data infrastructure. It is not there. Okay, so it is okay without AI, which it's okay for them. It's
Yes.
okay, so they can save some money. But now with AI, it demands you have a proper data structure in place. Okay, now the manufacturing people, the organizations are little exposed because they don't have a proper infrastructure in place, and
Mm.
henceforth they cannot use AI properly. So they have to build that data infrastructure at least to the level where it is required.
Required.
And second point is with AI, they need data with them, with their cloud or whatever they do it. It's because they cannot share their data to outside. The key things, the AI should be the local for them. That is very important. Otherwise, what happens? It goes to outside. The core competitiveness may be the problem. The
Yes.
confidentiality may become a problem. So there are some things organizations are not changing. So the basic structure they are putting up in place. So once you do that, I think AI will be adopted very nicely in manufacturing sector. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine, madam. Any closing
Yeah.
thoughts? Any closing thoughts?
I That's what, as I already said, this human thing is more important when it comes to
Mhm.
management, because the governance and human intelligence has its own value.
Fantastic. So thank you very much and have a
Thank you,
wonderful
sir.
day.
Thank you, sir.
I really enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. So give a big round of applause to Mr. Samuel. Thank you very much.